It was autumn on the island of Sodor. The Skarloey engines were busy clearing their railway of leaves and broken branches. Peter, Sam and Rusty often worked together. Peter Sam needed help from Rusty, so Rusty pushed Peter Sam up the hill.
Thanks, Rusty.
When he got there, he hooted goodbye.
Bye, Peter Sam.
Much better.
Peter Sam felt much better after his long drink, but the trucks were bored. You know what, said one, let's break away. The load was heavy and the couplings old. One snapped.
What?
Faster, faster! The city trucks cried. A sign read, slow, steep bend and ravine ahead. But none of them saw it. Then it happened. Peter Sam arrived at the scene of the disaster.
Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no!
He groaned.
This is our fault. We didn't secure them properly. We'll have to get help to pull them out. Mr. Percival will be very annoyed with us.
And it wasn't.
I am very disappointed in you, Peter Sam.
He said.
You will be working in the yard until I can trust you again.
Duncan was delighted with Peter Sam's dilemma. Fancy no securing your trucks on a hill.
Shut up, Duncan.
They'll come back to spook you and your special funnel. Woo, woo, woo!
Just ignore him, Peter Sam.
Said Skarloey.
And who's to say that you're not afraid of ghosts, Duncan?
Ha! Ghosts! Things that go bump in the night. Rubbish!
Well,
said Skarloey.
Rusty knows a story that will scare you stiff. Take it away, Rusty.
So Rusty came out the shed.
Well then, Duncan, listen carefully. A long time ago, a little engine was returning from the Blue Mountain Quarry. It was a misty moonlit night. As he crossed the old iron bridge, he suddenly fell off the side and plunged down the ravine towards the swamps below. He was never seen again, but many workmen will tell you that when the moon is full, they have seen the engine try to cross the old iron bridge. But he never makes it to the other side.
So what do you think of that, Duncan?
Pah! Nonsense! Said Duncan, and he puffed away.
Never mind him. I'm sure he'll be frightened if he saw a real ghost. Besides, he's meant to go to the Blue Mountain Quarry tomorrow.
This gave Peter Sam's driver and fireman an idea.
That sounds perfect to pay him back.
The next morning, they spoke to Duncan's crew, who agreed.
All right, do it tonight.
Duncan had to take empty trucks to the Blue Mountain Quarry, and then bring loaded trucks back. His driver decided as part of the plan to cross the old iron bridge. Haunted bridge! Snorted Duncan. It's as tame as a pet rabbit. But all the same, he kept thinking about Rusty's story. He was shunting in the yard with Sir Handel. Sir Handel noticed that Duncan was acting a bit strange.
Come on, what is with you?
He said. Nothing, said Duncan hastily.
Doesn't look like nothing to me, Duncan,
said Sir Handel. I can assure you it is nothing, said Duncan dismissively. Went back to work. But then the foreman came over.
Sir Handel is going to be leaving with the early train. You're needed here until nightfall.
Are you afraid the ghost will come for you?
Said Sir Handel mockingly.
The foreman says you have to work overtime.
No I'm not, said Duncan. When dusk arrived, Duncan was eager to leave. If we don't go now, Skarloey will take my favourite place in the sheds.
We can't go back until we collect all the trucks.
His driver replied. He could see their plan was working because Duncan was nervous. When nightfall came, they set off. The moon was full and the mists were rising along the old iron bridge. Duncan whistled and the sound echoed everywhere. His driver stopped him on the old iron bridge. Ahead, Duncan could see flickering lights. His driver knew that they were only insects that lit up at night, but to Duncan, they looked like an engine. Next, his driver secretly threw a rock from the cab into the ravine below. It was too much for Duncan. It's the ghost! Take me back! Take me back! Please! When Duncan reached the safety of his shed, he closed his eyes tight.
Spooked are you, Duncan?
Laughed his driver. Ugh! Cried Duncan. I'm asleep! The engines couldn't help but notice. They laughed.
Spooked are you, Duncan?
Duncan, you look like you've seen a ghost.
Ugh! Grumbled Duncan. Sir Handel also found it funny.
Well, I know why you were a bit scared then. The old engine came back to haunt you.
Duncan couldn't deny it, but he had in fact seen a ghost. His crew were laughing hysterically in the background. Duncan pretended that they weren't there.